Rugby Roots is brought to you by Compede Melbourne Nomad Sevens. Visit the top link in the description for more information. Welcome to Rugby Roots, a show where we discover where our favourite players found their love for the game. This episode, I'm delighted to be joined by the Sale back rower, Jono Ross. Hello, Jono. How are you? You well?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How excited are you, first of all, to get back into things, get back stuck into training and playing the sport you love again?
Yeah, it's obviously been tough times for a lot of people around the world, and I think for rugby players as well, being everything being put on hold. But I think the most important thing was just trying to be as safe as possible over the last period. And I think in hindsight, guys will probably be thankful for the time they got to spend with family and loved ones. But obviously now with a hopeful date of the 15th of August, hopefully, we can kick off again, whether that be in front of fans or not, and start, playing rugby again, which is really exciting. At least we have something to work towards.
So talk to me about where your passion for rugby comes from. Where did you first start playing the sport?
My passion for rugby probably came from my old man. He played a bit of rugby himself when he was younger, and obviously that fed through into me. I was very passionate as a young kid. 1995 World Cup in South Africa. I knew the team and I followed that very closely. But I only started playing in 2002. I was 12, so we made a club at our school and we played a game or two, and that's where it started really.
And when did things start to become a bit more serious for you? Kind of talk me through your teenage years in rugby.
Probably under 16 was when it probably became a bit more serious for me. I mean, obviously it was always pretty serious, but under 16, there was a guy, a friend of mine's father, who was involved with the Golden Lions, who got about 5 of us to go to trials for the Golden Lions, and from that I made what is called an academy team, which is the second team for the under 16 week, and that's probably where I realized that I was, I had maybe a chance of becoming a professional rugby player one day. Obviously, as a kid, you always dream of playing rugby as a profession, but that's probably where it became a bit more serious.
And were you ever nervous about making it professional with all the risky stigmas that are attached to the job of a professional rugby player?
No, I don't think I think you don't think about yourself. I think I was never worried about I've never been worried about getting injured, and I think in this profession you can't be. I think it was more just about, wanting to become a professional and sort of the excitement and joy you get from rugby. I don't think, the other side of it ever crossed my mind.
And talk me through your first kind of years breaking into the academies and your time in rugby with South Africa.
So yeah, I played again. I played under 18 academy for 2 years. So I never played in the prestigious Craven Week, which is, very well known in South Africa. I played in the competition below that, and I played South African academies, and we played against SA schools. But I never got offered a contract in South Africa out of school. So I actually went to Harlequins for a year, but probably too big a move for me at that age. I missed home and came back and started at the Bulls again. I didn't have a contract. I just started on what they called an agreement. So I just went there and played, but I wasn't paid. At the end of that year, I got a contract for 3 years, sorry. Played under 21, played a little bit of Currie Cup. And again, the Bulls told me, no, they're not going to re-sign me. And I came over to Sarries for 6 months on a short stint. And I think that's really was a big wake-up call for me. Just, obviously the sort of the way they run things at Sarries, is good. For all the things that have been said about them now recently, there's a hell of a lot of good that they do. And it was a really big wake-up call for me, probably going there and probably really spurred me on to become, a proper professional rugby player. But I went back, played university rugby, and from there made my Super Rugby debut, and then I sort of started pushing on. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind, but I think the one thing that I had throughout was determination and a will to never give up and want to make it. So things don't always come easy, but you just got to stick at it, really.
As you kind of mentioned there, pretty rocky start for a professional rugby player. How easy do you think it would have been to, at the age of 20, 21, or where you do have your whole life ahead of you, how easy would it have been to kind of just drop out and go to a university and get a real job? But obviously you didn't. Where did that drive come from? What kept you going during those tough times?
I'm not sure really. I just really wanted to make it. I think I just really wanted to become a professional rugby player. But I mean, in saying that, I have the utmost respect for guys who, at the age of 21, see their rugby careers and going anywhere, and they go and study and pursue a different path. I really do have the utmost respect for those guys. As much as I have respect for guys who've come from, who've struggled and become professional rugby players as well. I think, everyone has to make that personal decision. But as well, I don't think I, wanted to end up as a 25-year-old really struggling to make it, and then you're sort of on the back foot in life. So if at 21, 22 guys, decide to go to university and pursue a different career, I have the utmost respect for that. But for me, I had a real want to become a professional rugby player, and as I said, it's just a determination to make it, I think.
And after that rocky start, you seem to have a good stint at the Bulls. Describe to me how you found your time with the Bulls squad.
Yeah, I think, all in all, I was at the Bulls for 5 years, and I look back at those times with really fond memories, and it was a great, to be a part of such a prestigious union. A lot of great players have come through there, the likes of Morna Steyn and Victor Matfield, and to have sort of played with those guys was massive for me. We probably weren't as successful when I was playing a lot as what they had been, in previous times, but a lot had changed. So, you got to use those disappointments to drive you on, and I think, sort of my time at the Bulls as well spurred me on to become a better person and a better player.
You then made the move to Stade Francais. How excited were you for a different challenge in a different country? What kind of challenges or pros and cons came with your move to the French side?
Yeah, obviously, Stade was always a team that I knew about growing up. The pink jerseys and things like that. It's a massively prestigious club. Probably one that's known throughout the world, and it was really great to go and live in Paris, which is an amazing place, and learn a new language, take on new culture. But obviously, with that comes the challenges. But it was a really fantastic time, and we were quite successful. We won the top 14. We won a European Challenge Cup. So those are the things that I think you really take with you. And obviously the friendships you make, and the sort of cultural differences you learn, and you dive into a new culture, and that was fantastic. So again, I really love my time there. It's a fantastic city and a really great club.
You then moved to England and to the Sale Sharks. So what did you see in the squad at that time, which made you want to move to Sale?
I think just the ambition of the club, with Simon Downs and Jed, they really had an ambition to make, rugby in the Northwest strong again. And they've backed it up with the signings that have been made at the club. And I think this year we started to touch on sort of our potential, but at the time it was just their ambition. They wanted to have a club that was competing, and as a rugby player, you want to compete for titles. We haven't quite managed to do that yet, but hopefully, if not this year, years to come, we can start, pushing on and challenging for trophies, which will be great.
A name which has been popping up recently in your position at the Sharks is that of a Curry. Both Ben and Tom have been regularly playing beside you. How exciting is it to see those two growing and prospering from either side of you in a scrum?
Yeah, no, I think, the Currys are freaks, really. Massively talented, and with the talent, they work extremely hard. I think, you sort of merge the two together. It doesn't help you very talented, but you don't work hard. So they work extremely hard, and that goes a long way with their talent. And I think Tom on the international stage is, probably one of the best loose forwards in the world currently. And, he works extremely hard to be there. And Ben, I think if he got the opportunity, would not be far behind. So yeah, they're extremely talented. It's great to play alongside them, as it is to play alongside the other twins, the Duprees, who are just as much freaks as well, and work really hard. And I think sort of as a back row mix of with those guys is pretty special to be a part of. So yeah, it's great to see them grow and continue to hopefully get international honours.
kind of touched upon it there, but Sale are looking on the up, and it looks really promising for the northwest side. How excited are you for the years ahead with Sale, and where you could take this team?
Yeah, I think it is massively exciting. Everything going on at the club. Obviously, things have been tough, I guess, over the last little period with the stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. But I think as a club, we've pulled together, and hopefully we can come out the other side and sort of when we start playing, start off where we sort of left off. We're gaining a bit of momentum and playing some good rugby. But I think this team can only get better. I think we still can improve in so many areas. We most definitely aren't the finished article. So I think the exciting thing is that there's still so much development within the team. But obviously, this is a tough competition, and other teams are developing and strengthening all the time. So I always say you just got to keep improving, that's the way forward, really.
And finally, any advice you've got for any young rugby players looking to grow and improve their game?
Yeah, I think as I've touched on quite a lot, is you've got to work hard and be determined to make it if that's what you want, and just constantly try and improve. And on the back of that, I think you've got to enjoy what you're doing. Never see it as a chore or a job or whatever. You just enjoy playing rugby. It's a fantastic sport and gives a lot of hope and gives people a lot of purpose. So it's a fantastic game and just enjoy it, but work hard and keep going, really.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Jono. It's been great to speak to you and hear about your rugby roots. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, we'll chat to you soon, bro. Appreciate it.
Thanks again to Compede Melbourne Nomad Sevens for sponsoring this video. Make sure you check out those socials which are on screen right now. And thank you to you for watching. Make sure you check out @YoungRugby on Instagram for everything Young Rugby, and we'll hope to catch you soon. Bye bye.